Oh my God, 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 oh my God.
Everyone's favorite moment in the show. We're going to talk about foreclosure stuff.
Yeah.
So today's subject, headed up by REOFrank, will be the foreclosure forecast for 2012. Will there be more or less foreclosure activity, and how will the year actually start out? So, Frank, you are actually going to put on your Nostradamus hat here and help people, in your opinion. Disclaimer, this is an opinion of Frank, and it doesn't necessarily mean the opinion of the entire show.
Feet.
It does not represent the opinions of others.
Vomiting.
Right. But what's up with 2012 and foreclosures? Because
I see heavy chance of foreclosures with
rolling in from
some rolling short sales.
There's a system coming in.
Actually, I see, and from all the resources I have and from what I've been told by some pretty high-ups, is to be prepared. Be prepared.
Like a Boy Scout?
For an increase in foreclosures this year, substantially higher than last, is what I'm being told right now. I'm being asked to get my team ready and get my gear ready and be prepared to handle a pretty substantial.
I understand there's going to be a large flow, an unbundled flow of foreclosure, distressed home activity in 2012.
A good sign of this is, or a lot of this is, all of the foreclosure prevention programs that the government's tried to do for the last 4 years.
Have any of them worked?
A lot of them are expiring or not being renewed.
Yeah, most of them
because
are expiring. They're not right because they didn't work because either they weren't. It was a government program. Either it was guidance, and they think the lenders really should participate, but none of them did because
that's why it didn't work, because lenders weren't mandatory.
There's going to be a point where the government's going to say we did everything we could do to keep people in homes, and now the banks, we've just got to flush this out because the market's not going to return to a normal market.
And that's kind of
driven by supply and demand.
That's the feeling I'm getting out there, that they've tried many strategies, and now they kind of have to start releasing things and letting the market adjust itself.
I personally feel we need to. You just took my God.
Well, I don't know if you want to rip the Band-Aid off, because there'll be severe bleeding if you really did that. But
that's what we're going to see, isn't it?
But I think we really need to let the market reset itself. I mean, you can't want to have a capitalistic society and then have all these barriers preventing it from being that. I mean, well, anyways, I
think that Long Beach is going to be affected in a minimal way in comparison to
some like NorCal is going to be.
And I think places like Palmdale and what's the one next to it, Frank?
Yeah, IE is going to be.
Well, Palmdale, but then, of course,
the Cantaloupe Valley.
I think areas that are going to be re-affected are going to be counties like San Bernardino and Riverside and places like that, where they've already been through so much. I feel terrible for them out there.
Yeah, but get ready, because 2012, in all likelihood,
but
the flow is coming.
But the banks, and I know we always knock the banks over the head.
We don't always knock the banks, Frank, just 90% of the time.
Well, but they do understand that their mistakes made from the past, too, from flooding the market. I don't see it flooding, but I see an increase and a steady flow. I don't see it. I don't see, like many people say, oh, we've hit rock bottom. Actually,
I don't think so.
They can, people can manipulate a rock bottom or manipulate a surge. And right now, their goal is to get these things out as much as possible and under a controlled chaos as much as
regulated
possible,
flow,
so that it adjusts itself. Hopefully, I think right now the government and the banks and their strategies, there was too much of a manipulation. They tried their best, but now they've just got to. They have to do what they have to do.
Bottom line, the sooner that we keep pushing this recovery by trying to keep
them on life support.
By keep kissing the boo-boo, you know, it's not going to... The boo-boo's still there, whether you kiss it or not. Just let it heal, scab
I don't think you're going to see it in 2012, though. I think we're looking closer to 2013 or 2014 before things start to normalize.
Well, let's assume
I do think there's going to be more... They're definitely going to release more homes.
Let's assume that we do see it in 2012. Well, who benefits and who gets hurt by it?
Everybody gets hurt, no matter what, because
everybody's going to benefit.
I mean, right now, the environment, the past 2 years, there are so many people I have talked to personally that because of the housing market and it's generated issues with unemployment and the economy as a whole. And 2 years ago, when they wouldn't have seen themselves having to short sale or going into foreclosure, they have now. because it's dragged out too long. If like Elisa said, if we would have let it adjust itself naturally, it would have been bad. It would have been a catastrophe. But more than likely, we'd be
further down the road.
We'd be further down the road and creeping toward a recovery rather than just staying. I'm not going to say flatline right now.
At some point, you need to realize you need to cut your losses. And
so that's what's coming.
It just at some point it's like, okay, you know what happened. Let's how do we fix it?
Yeah,
and let's just put our heads down and move
actually
forward.
A lot of the big investment banks are going in and starting to buy bundles from the bundles of foreclosures, and I'm seeing that will
What's
help.
What's a bundle, Frank?
Well, that's we talked about this before. The investment groups, they've got millions and gazillions of dollars, and they can get properties at a discounted rate because they're going to buy them bulk, basically. So they're going
to buy 100 homes.
It's like going to Costco and buying 100 toilet paper rolls instead of just the 4-pack.
So they'll buy 100 homes. They'll probably rehab these homes. They'll get them up to FHA, VA standards and put them on the market. And a nice first-time home buyer or a regular conventional home buyer will buy that home. And that helps with the adjustment process as well. But they're actually doing that to make room for more foreclosures that are in the pipeline and ready to go.
Shadow in between.
I think overall, you better hold on. Hold on 2012. It's going to be a crazy ride.
But that first quarter of January is a great time to go out and take advantage of this.
Oh, dude,
as a buyer,
I've heard many things.
We should talk about that in January shows.
I think we should talk about that in another show.
Put on the list.
What's a really good time to buy?
Go out and
why.
get pre-approved with your direct lender.
Exactly.
Damn.
In January.
Exactly. So,
now,
Frank, if you had to break it down into a simple phrase regarding the forecast for 2012 as it pertains to foreclosures, what would it be?
I'd say more and more of the same.
More homes and more of the same.
More homes and more of the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions about this kind of stuff, one of the supporters of the show, Equity Partner Properties, Property Partners. These guys understand all this stuff, and you can get a hold of them at 562-413-1030. And they know obviously a lot more than I did because I couldn't even I unbungled their name as I was even saying it.